Test, test.
Me, mo, mo, me, mo, mo, mo.
Test.
Ah. It's the end of the world, everybody! Oh my God! Get down in your basements and your bunkers!
It's not the end of the world. It's okay.
Are you
Derek,
sure?
I'm gonna let you know it's
Are
okay.
you sure? The nice, friendly male couple next door can now get married, Rodney. I'm terrified. Obviously, I'm joking, everybody.
I think actually the couple next door, they're both women.
Oh, well, that's cool too. But the world is ending! That's the big news of this week for a lot of people.
Swinging.
Yeah, I told you, coming out swinging.
Coming out hot.
Coming out hot!
He said,
Boom.
he was just doing laps around the room. He said, I'm going to get nice and hot for this one.
Rodney's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I gotta get hot, man. And now I'm here talking to you people.
Sweating.
Talking to our fan. I am sweating
all over
a
the
lot.
furniture. You're sweating everywhere.
I'm literally ruining your furniture. I apologize. But it's funny. It's a good day for...
It's funny that it's the end of the world.
No, that's not funny.
Good segue.
It's funny that, equal rights was had a victory, I think, this week. And some people literally saw it as a sign of the end times if you're from a certain community.
Is that what you thought?
No.
Is that what you were saying?
No, but it was funny.
Is that what you were saying?
Friday when that news broke...
You were just saying it's the end of the world.
Well, it might be the end of the world for other reasons. I don't think that's probably one of them. Then again, I don't know. So the point is, Friday I was just waiting for it because the news finally broke. Like,
I didn't even realize that they were voting on that, sadly. Like, I knew they had been talking about it. It was coming up for a while.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was happening when it happened.
it kind of, what happens with the Supreme Court is like they'll try the case like 2 or 3 months ago and then you'll forget about it. And in June it's just like, here's all the rulings.
Okay, is that how it works?
Yeah, so... But yeah, all the good news came out. Everybody was celebrating online.
There's definitely some hate.
Well, that's the thing. I was waiting.
Whoa.
I was like,
Here comes the hate.
ramped up, ready to like take on people who were going to be
On
hating.
Facebook?
Yeah, I was like just sitting on my computer. I'm like, someone post some hate shit. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm going to tear you down. This is America. Equal rights for all, bitch. Like, but
I agree with everything you're saying, but
it was funny because I was like geeked out about it. Like, come on, this is a
I
great
don't
day.
think a lot of people have the balls to do it now because it's like now they can be labeled hateful.
That's true.
So you didn't see any?
No, I saw a few.
Oh, you did? You
I
brought
won't
them
name
down?
names. I was trying to be nice about it, but I was excited about
All right, you won't
arguing.
give names.
And then there's people on random blogs. If you just go to any random blog and you see shit, sometimes I just get amped up.
I'm trying to ignore that because I was just
You should. You get sucked into it, but when you get on like a high where you're just like, I want to fucking tear down these bigots.
Yeah.
And you can do that online without having like a conversation.
So what points were these people, specifically that one,
well, for me,
not to be mentioned
Yeah.
in person?
For me, it was a religious argument because they were trying to say that homosexuality is different from other sin. I don't know if you think it's sin or not, but the point is, I came at them like, it's not different than any other sin. Like, we're all imperfect human beings. Like, why would you like hate on a class of people just because they're born some way? And then I kind of got on his case about like, I think there's this like, people get in the Christian community get upset that sometimes gays make fun of them and atheists and whoever else. But I'm like, you bring this stuff on yourself because you're dicks all the time.
Because you're hateful.
You're hateful. Like, stop being hateful dicks, and maybe people will stop hating you back. It's not
That's
like
funny
Jesus,
how that works.
it's not like Jesus was out there and was like, hey, asshole, knock it off. He's just like, hey, dude, come have some wine with me and let's talk. But everyone today in the media.
I don't think Jesus would have given a fuck if you were fucking each other and it was mutual and it wasn't kids.
Yeah, I don't know. It's wild. And then people attribute
That totally contradicts everything that I've found God to be my spiritual journey.
That's what makes sense to me too. It's like,
I'm scared to call people out, but sometimes I want to just ask. I haven't been meditating as much because I felt like I was going too deep. I need to start doing it again because it really was making me feel relaxed. But some of those moments where I really feel like I was in touch with God, like it's really what it felt like.
Zen it in, focus.
Yeah. The messages I got were nothing of anything like that. It's like, and I want to ask these people, like, do you talk to God? Are you in touch with God? Do you connect with Him? And they'll probably be, half of them will probably be like, well, I go to church, and be like, no. Do you understand, like,
right?
Because that I don't feel that energy at all coming from you.
I think it's a fear-based belief system sometimes, where people.
You have nothing to fear.
Well, that's the thing.
If you believe in God, you really have nothing to fear.
That's the thing. I think
nothing.
People fear hell, or people get obsessed with sins and homosexuality and other people's sins and don't do this and don't do that. I think are so afraid of screwing up themselves, they have to tell other people to stop just to remind themselves in some kind of psychological ways. Like, if I tell them to stop, I'll make sure I don't do these bad things. Or that's just the way I see it. I'm like, I feel like you put off energy that it's born within you somewhere, psychologically or like subconsciously. It's like that thing where it was Gandhi or one of the guys said, you point a finger and 3 fingers point back at you. So it's just like one of those things.
I've never heard that saying before.
Yeah. One of those hippie guys said it once.
One of those guys.
One of those guys who had a social movement and that was pretty big. He changed the world.
Changed the lives of millions of people.
But you know what's changing the lives of millions of people in Greece right now?
That they can't get money out of their bank accounts?
$60 a day. Or 67, I think, in American dollars. $60 in the euro.
I think that's all frozen now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Officially right now, as of our recording this, Greece has officially defaulted, so uncharted territories.
The first civilized society, or first world country to default to the IMF.
Yeah. I think it's pretty powerful news. And it's not just because it's happening. I think it's just because we've kind of been tiptoeing around this problem, because there's a few countries that have a problem like this.
The United States being one of them.
Yeah, don't bring that up. Shut up. I want to be happy in my ignorant bliss.
Watching what's going to eventually happen here if we don't really right this ship immediately.
Yeah.
It's probably already too late.
But, yeah, you see it happening, and I think the signs are there. It's like, oh, this could happen in other places. And the thing that gets me is kind of Greece's kind of almost disdain. In Puerto Rico, their ambassador would be their leader. I'm not sure if it's a president or whatever. They were just saying, like, yeah, we pretty much can't pay you back. Like, mathematically, you're not getting your money back. And, like, we saw that happen here with Detroit and cities. And I think that's just an interesting concept. And it worries me because I'm like, are more countries just going to be like, yeah, we can't pay us back. We're done.
France is there.
Oh, yeah?
Ireland's there.
Wasn't it Scotland that was, like, getting into trouble?
There.
And then Scotland kind of...
You have Italy, Portugal.
The whole Eurozone.
Yeah. Most of the world is not in great shape right now, and a lot of it has to do with the distortions in what central bank has done. And you see what this happened. I mean, this is. I think a lot of this has been planned. I really think this manipulation that they're saying we don't understand what's going on. I think a lot of people actually know exactly what the fuck is going on right now.
Well, you gotta play stupid, right? I feel like if you're in a position of power or wealth, you're obviously a smart person, I feel like. So you would hopefully know what you're doing is going to lead.
Are you? I don't know if I'd say you're smart. Well, you have to be somewhat intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
I feel like you should have somewhere in the back of your mind, well, if I'm doing this scenario might happen. So it kind of goes to your point. It's like, maybe they're not planning it. Maybe they're just hoping to get away with it. And now they're not getting away with it.
Well, what kind of people, though, do you think are attracted to powerful positions in a system that's very, very corrupt and ugly? Which I think that's...
Well, yeah.
I think we'd agree that it seems like a lot of the power players in the world today seem like they're...
I've always gone with the sociopath route, where you kind of just...
Well, right. So like, a system like that's attracting those types of people to rise to the top.
Yeah.
It attracts those personalities. Like, think how scary that is, because a lot of the people that are good-hearted and want to do good, they stop playing in that. They go and find something else to do.
Yeah, that's true. And there's a lot of bullshit probably to be had to get to where people get to.
But I mean, if you look at what Greece was doing, going back to what, I mean, 15 years ago or so, when they started just spending money like, I mean, we talked about this before in some earlier segments.
Yeah.
They started spending money like motherfuckers.
They really did. And I think they weren't, did they cut like their weekly work week into like 3 days or 4 days or something like that?
I don't know.
Or they reduced their hours or something. I don't know. It was just, it seemed like they were not taking care of business in a way. Like I've always been the guy who's like, I want the government to spend money, but I want to, you know, I want us to pay for it. Like I don't want to, I've always been a tax and spend guy, which I know we disagree on, but.
Tax and spend.
Yeah, but I just think Greece was like, let's just spend.
I don't know if we disagree on that.
Yeah.
I believe that we should just be spending what we're bringing in
Right.
revenue.
Right.
I believe in a balanced budget.
I mean, I think most normal people do, right?
That's not what we have right now.
No.
It's interesting. There was an article. Oh, I should know the guy's name. Let's see if I can find it real quick. And I don't know much about this guy, so maybe this guy's a crazy man. My computer's frozen.
Love your laptop.
Gary Hart. Are you familiar with Gary Hart?
Who was that again?
Gary Hart!
Gary Hart. Okay.
Come on down. You're the next contestant. The Price is Right.
I do not know Gary Hart.
Gary Hart is apparently a former senator, and he slams Washington as corrupt sewer.
Fucking Gary Hart.
And he calls for outraged young Americans to revolt.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Not in a violent way, again, like we talked about Baltimore, but.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't suggest that. He suggests that young people march down to Washington with brooms, and they demand the access so they can clean Washington.
Clean house.
Yeah, clean it of the filth.
When did he post that? Was that recently, or is that like always?
I don't know. I think I think he's been pretty outspoken about this for a while.
I think what will happen, because people don't pay attention until presidential election year, I think we will see another kind of. Well, I don't know if we have, like, people got behind Barack Obama, like, weirdly, like, younger people.
Barack Obama didn't fucking stand for anything he said he did.
But I'm just saying, more people got energized in the political system, or at least for that year.
I think we got duped again.
We probably
We
did.
keep getting fucking duped.
But the thing is...
That's what scares me, though. So, like, yeah, we might get excited and people might get behind someone, but we're probably gonna get fucking duped again.
But here's the thing, we gotta take that energy because people will start paying attention, and we gotta get good people to take that energy and corral it and, like, take rooms to Washington. I'm saying 2016 probably has potential to be a change year if the right people, you know, take advantage of the opportunities.
I'm not sure.
Because right now people aren't paying attention that much. Well, this Greece thing. Well, people don't even know about Greece. That's the other thing.
Dude, I saw this video the other day. That I forget this guy's name. He posts some provocative stuff, and he's usually making fun of our ignorance, right? He's talking about subjects that I'd say we will be up to speed with a lot of the stuff he's posting, but half of fucking America, and he'll target lots of places in California where there's a lot of fucking momos. Just like, look at my Gucci bag. Life is so good. My big fake titties. My big muscles.
Why isn't there water coming out of my tap?
I don't fucking care. I got Gatorade. Yeah. Look how much I squat. Anyway, he was walking around and he had a 10-ounce bar of silver.
Oh.
And it's not like a ton, but it's like,
Yeah, but I mean, it's
like a little
significant
chunk of
chunk
silver.
to just be carrying around with it.
And so he was walking around and he was asking people if they would give him $20 for this bar of silver. He's like, I'll give you, I'll give you this bar of silver for $20. He's just asking all these different random people. And no one would take it. And he'd be like, how about $10? How about 10? And everyone's like, no, man. And then he'd get down to $1. Or he bartered, like the one lady had a fucking Starbucks coffee that was pretty much empty. He's like, I'll take that for this. Like,
We'll trade it
or
off.
like, yeah, something else.
Yeah.
And the people are all just like, no, no, no. And then after they're kind of like, no, he's like, and he's standing right beside a coin
A depository thing?
and precious metal shop where, you
Okay.
can trade it in or buy, like, and everyone's saying no. And he's like, well, you do know that if you would have taken this deal, for that $20, you would have gotten this, and you could go right next door and gotten $160.
Did you know that? Obviously not.
And they're all like, so they're like, oh, should we do it? So they're like, no, I like cash. I don't need that. Or I only have credit cards. I don't have cash.
Right.
And they have no fucking idea like what things are worth.
No.
And they're,
People don't think about that. And
dude, it was really sad. None. not maybe some people did and they cut that out,
Yeah.
but they showed several people that just said no and acted like he was an asshole.
Right. Well, there's also this thing where you got a stranger coming up to you, making
With
a
a
deal.
camera.
It's just like,
That's true too. With the camera, just like, hey. I mean, he had a separate cameraman.
Was it like hidden?
No, it was
Oh,
like
it's
another
just-
person.
Well, yeah. I still probably would have done it because, a camera gets on me, I'll just do some stupid stuff anyway. Like here.
I mean, if I would have been wise enough to see that there's where he was standing, right behind there was I'm like, all right, let's go in here and see if it's real. The guy said it was real, but like, yo, $20, motherfucker, let's do this.
I'm getting drunk tonight, or whatever you do with the $140.
I don't know if I would just go drinking.
You go on a bender, man. That's what you do with free money, right? Anywho, what were we talking? We were talking about fucking people not knowing about Greece.
Yeah, well, people not understanding the concept of value of money.
Yeah.
Like, so people in Greece also not understanding the concept and value of money and what their government was doing with their money and their finances.
Yeah.
It's interesting, man. It's scary to think because if it really starts to collapse and you start to see liquidity dry up very, very quickly, and you see some of these capital controls that are starting to impact Greece start to happen everywhere, or when you see negative interest rates, which you're probably going to see in Greece, you're going to see that depositors, people that actually have cash, the people that are actually making sound financial decisions and trying to save money, that they get penalized and their money is what's stolen and not given back. That's who loses.
That's the reality, unfortunately, if that happens.
Well, imagine that's starting to happen throughout the entire world. Imagine bank runs everywhere.
Yeah.
And then people realizing that there isn't nearly enough fucking cash.
I've listened to people this week say that, and then I hear people like that aren't too worked up about it, so I don't know, I'm trying not to get too weird about it, but people are like, this could be the next Lehman Brothers, but worse. I'm just like...
Deutsche Bank is in really bad shape.
They bring that up, yeah.
Oh, you heard about that?
I don't know about, you should probably talk about it, but I heard that name thrown around.
Well, there have been some warning signs for a while, and I don't know enough about this stuff to really be an expert. Google that shit!
Google it!
But they've had some people leaving that were big swinging dicks, for lack of a better term, for the last several months, which that was the same thing that was happening to Lehman. They saw a lot of their good talent exiting before, because people fucking see what's
right. Kind of
going
what we were
on. They
talking
see
about
that they're
earlier.
over leveraged. They see that they can't get out of positions they put themselves in, and it's just like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And they can be huge financial companies. They're worth trillions of dollars, literally trillions of dollars. Like have $50 trillion exposure in derivatives, like not a big deal. There's Goldman,
Right.
Citigroup, JP Morgan, all of them have that much exposure.
The
So Deutsche Bank, I don't know, they apparently have, a lot of exposure to a lot of bad assets, which I wonder if some of those are in Greece.
I remember the gentleman that was talking on the show I was watching brought up the liquidity issue and how it'll dry up and then it might kind of snowball. But he said it so quickly, it was such a short little thing. I was like, crap.
Well, I mean, it's just like the whole banking system is built on fractional reserve accounting. So, I mean, every dollar that they take in, a lot of them then leverage that at least 10 times that, if not more. And
Right.
then
And that's insane.
and then banks take that debt and they package that up into a security and then sell it off their balance completely and take in capital and then leverage that again. And then it's snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. So when you think about the actual hard cash that's actually here in physical dollars, like literally physical cash, it's very small. Like a lot more people should have physical cash on them than they think. Like people that just have credit cards and debit cards, it's a very naive concept.
Yeah.
Because even cash, I mean, you look at that value and that's debt. That's the funny thing. People think it holds value. No, that banknote is a treasury which has been leveraged several times over by the federal government and borrowed against. It's not worth anything. It's actually an IOU. It's
Right.
not worth squat. I mean, you can exchange it for goods and services right now, but it's still based on confidence in the U.S. federal government being able to repay for that.
Speaking of leveraging, our money, I think I saw the U.S. had $200 billion in this whole Greece thing.
200 billion. That's it.
I mean, it's not a lot, but I was like, no, there's still.
No, that's a lot. That's a lot of fucking money. I'm just surprised it's just that much.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like.
U.S.
200
debt
billion
in
then?
Greece. I saw that earlier today.
Is that through the IMF?
Yeah. And that was one thing too. I don't know how to feel about the IMF.
The IMF is a fucked up organization.
I think it is, right?
Well, there's
but at
a
the
lot
same
of,
time, they seem to go in with good intentions. Like, we're going to help these people out.
No, centralized banks are never going in with good intentions. They're going in to fucking control the system. They're going in to control people's cash. They're going in to control people's liquidity. They're going in to control who gets the cash and who doesn't get the cash. I mean, it's all a game of control.
Yeah.
When you have centralized banks and they're playing around with this much liquidity, it's a huge, huge problem.
Well, that's why I kind of like that Greece is kind of, in a way, giving them the middle finger, but at the same time, they shouldn't.
No, it
They
needs to
shouldn't.
happen.
They shouldn't have done what they did to get themselves there. So it's kind of like
They fucked up.
two negatives there.
Right, they fucked up, but at the same time, it's like, so, the IMF, in some instances, I guess it might be a good organization. I'm just probably speaking out of turn. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but in a lot of examples, all of these different banks, whether it's the European Central Bank, whether it's the IMF, you name it, like all of these different fucking centralized banks, they take advantage of situations, and people say they're adding liquidity, but they're making liquidity up out of thin air. I mean, and oftentimes they're indebting these populations, whether it's war-torn countries that they're loaning the money to buy the munitions and buy the ammunition and buy all the weapon systems to destroy their own properties. And then once they do that, then they also get them to leverage even more debt. And usually to do that, they have to sell off a lot of the resources, whether it's pieces of land or whether it's like resources like ports or infrastructure or rights to mineral reserves, whatever. They come in and loot it to private interest or privately sold companies, and then get them so they're fucking tied to this contract which indebts them for like eternity, and they know they're not going to be able to pay for it, and they just keep looting them. And it's like
that's the thing I think I've heard people complain about, is that it's been very predatory or predatorial.
Yeah.
It's like you're going in there. I think the rate they were paying was 14% or something like
That's
that.
not fucking competitive at all at today's interest rates.
No.
Interest rates are fucking zero to those banks. Literally, they're making money out of nowhere, and they're not charging any interest to. Oh, it's so fucked up, man. But Greece, in like you said, they behave very poorly. So you have countries like Germany that are tied to them, right?
Yeah.
And they are all in this together. It's kind of like states. There's states in the United States that are fiscally very responsible, that are bringing in positive cash flow, that don't have problems. There's a few of them, not many. I don't even know which ones are. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn. Maybe there aren't any, but there's some that are in better shape than others.
Yeah, I think there are some that are
the same thing as like
right.
the European Union, where there's countries that really have been stepping up, and others countries that haven't been.
That's the thing. Again, it's like I want to be against the IMF, but then I see Germany's stance on it and be like, dude, we need your money. Or at least maybe they can negotiate terms. But it seems like this week they're just like, we're not going to negotiate, which makes it seem like we've come to this impasse where shit can get real.
I mean, I don't think there's any way around that we're going into World War III, and shit's going to get real quick. Like, and some major battles are going to happen. Some major shit's going to get fucked up.
Well, speaking of Europe and that whole thing, the news last week was that we were shipping tanks and planes over to Europe at the rate that was once seen in the Cold War.
Yeah.
So that's always fun.
Like the doomsday clock ticks closer.
Yeah, that whole thing, the atomic clock thing you're talking about.
They fucking.
I think Russia's already stuck his nose in the Greece thing. I heard people saying they're worried that Greece will kind of jump NATO and kind of side with Russia.
They've been talking to Russia for a while. They've been talking to, I think, China, Russia, anyone that'll have them.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. It's interesting for me because I guess now we're finally old enough to like be part of like the global political world. Because when you read about the stuff as a kid, you're like, oh, that was history, and it doesn't seem as tangible. But now as you're like living it and you're seeing what's going on, you're like, oh, this does remind me of certain events that happened before certain wars and that kind of thing.
it's really scary. I was reading an article about a possible program that they're trying to put in place, which will mandate that any 18 to 28-year-old that is not actively employed would be brought into either work in the military, work for Teach for America, work for the Peace Corps, or some other social outreach programs. But it was like this mandatory servitude to, impoverished communities through education, impoverished countries through assistance, or our military presence into fighting terrorism, like all this stuff, and like, oh, that will help, and it will get all the families behind it because they don't have kids that are involved. And it's just like, no.
Yeah, that's
like,
kind of
yes, we need to teach.
dark.
We need to, like the teaching stuff. It's like, yes, that needs to happen, but you don't have to mandate.
Right.
I don't think you have to force people to. I don't know.
Then well, we're not Israel, but I'm like, isn't Israel one of the countries that forces you to do military time?
Yeah.
But they're in a different situation. So they're at war all the time. So
I'm surprised that they haven't gotten fucked up.
oh, there was something happening in the Middle East. Oh, it was a boat. Netanyahu or Israel. There's a blockade is the word I'm looking for out there in that
Gaza.
sea. Yeah, and I guess they stopped a flotilla. And I don't think it was that big in news, but anytime like Israel like stops a boat or a Navy ship, it's like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next?
I don't know how they carry on over there. I
Yeah.
don't understand how it's not gonna work out. Like, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when someone does something to them, right?
Oh yeah, we can talk about Iran, right? That's not making them happy. And this week they're negotiating that nuclear deal. And I kind of get weirded out by that because I guess, Iran should have like nuclear power plants or whatnot, but at the same time I'm like, I don't trust Iran yet.
I mean, if you're worried about nuclear war, I mean, I think you should be even more worried about India and Pakistan. I mean, they both have nukes.
That's true.
They both hate each other. Pakistan specifically because it's really destabilized. There's a lot of radicals that have moved in from Afghanistan because of the failed war there. And then also, I mean, the conflict between Russia and the proxy war going on in the Ukraine between Russia and the United States and NATO. I mean, Russia's apparently deploying like ICBM weapon systems on their border.
Yeah, they are. I
And
saw some of that.
and they're talking about moving into what's the other country? Is it Albania? It's starting to destabilize, and they're talking about moving into that. There's speculation that Russia might move into there as well. I mean, anywhere where they're talking about how it's a Slavic movement. Anywhere where there's a Slavic population that Russia may have a right to occupy, which is very similar to, pre-war rhetoric before World War II with Nazi Germany.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird to me because I don't know what inspired it so much. I get the terrorist fight. Terrorists have their religious thing and they want to blow us up. So we have to protect ourselves. Not that I'm saying we did everything right. But Russia, I don't get like what its problem is. I'm like, dude, just chill out. But I guess we are sanctioning them to death.
Well, I mean, that's the interesting thing. So you had, was it President Yanukovych?
You probably say it, but
Yanukovych? I don't know, it's something with a Y.
Yeah.
Yanukovych.
President Y.
Yeah, President Y. President Y. I like that.
He's actually a super villain. He has superpowers.
Well, he may. I don't know the guy, so he could be. But I don't know if it's out of nowhere, but kind of pivoted towards Russia and away from NATO. And shortly after that, I mean, it's documented. The current president has it on the record, I believe, in a parliamentary session that he wanted that to be considered basically an overthrow.
I don't know.
It was a Western-backed overthrow.
Interesting.
I believe he's on the record. I believe the BBC reported on it that he's like on the record as saying, yeah, that was not
That's not good.
And so you have a country where half of the country, the eastern part is Slavic, and then you have, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you overthrow the president and put in a president that's very Western-leaning.
I guess it is kind of
and now
a slap.
The border region, the part where the separatists have taken over, like past Donetsk or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
That part of the region, the Ukrainian government is no longer subsidizing, so they're not sending in food trucks or supplies to the people that are stuck behind enemy lines, because they're saying basically Russia needs to take care of them because they're trying to get Russia to admit that they're occupying that part of the country and bring supplies in. So there's a lot of people that are caught in it. They're like not doing with the lack of supplies, lack of resources. Everything's been blown up. That's really fucking creepy. That's right next to Russia. Could you imagine? I know we talked about this before too. Like, could you imagine if that was Mexico? Could you imagine?
That would be a big problem.
Like, we would be like, fuck Russia. What are they doing over here in Mexico?
That would freak me out. Definitely.
So think of yourself vice versa. Like if you were over there and that was next to your country.
Yeah.
Because they touch.
That's the thing. But we're America. We just do what we want. Everybody knows that, right?
I mean, I think it's scary that they're just taking land and taking territory and taking sovereign. Like, I don't think that's right either, though. Like,
No.
You don't want that to become the okay. Like, okay, just take what you want.
Come on in, guys.
But,
We're cool with that. Just don't shoot us. And then you got Yemen.
Yemen and Saudi Arabia.
Yemen's suffering, I think, what was it called? A famine.
Saudi Arabia blew the shit out of them.
I shouldn't laugh. I don't know how. I just don't know how to respond. I'm like, yeah, that's what's happening. I'm currently looking at a global map just to refresh like where everything is.
Like all the African countries that are right across there, and you don't even like.
Well, Egypt was having its problems too, right? Didn't they want to kill
Everyone
their
in
new
these
government
African
or whatever?
countries is having problems.
Yeah. What is going on, Rodney?
It is scary, man. And the financial things, like I've been talking to people at work. I'm like, "Are you ready for this?" Like, you know, they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be fine." I'm like, "Is it?" I'm like, "Is it? You sure?"
Sure.
Like, I know you want it to be. I think I freaked a couple people out at work because I work with some older folks, and you know, they talk to me about how our generation is fucked. Like, they've been fucking us.
They just admit it.
Kind of like that guy was just talking about, like, he's saying the younger people need to stand up and realize they've been getting fucked and need to go down and clean out Washington.
Yeah.
Not like, but like, say, demand change and demand this crony capitalism goes away and this weird distortion that's government and capitalism distorting everything, and you actually have fascism, basically.
Right. No.
But if they wash that away, anyway, so I was talking to this older guy that I work with that I really, really enjoy working with. I really look up to him. He's a good dude. And I was like, what happens if all of your wealth got wiped out? Like, all of you, the baby boomers generation's wealth just got wiped out right before you guys all retire. He's like, and I said, I'm more nervous for all of you. He's like, I could get through it. I'm young, but if you guys lose everything, what are we gonna do? And he like looked at me with these terrified eyes. And I was reading some headlines about, I think it was it J.P. Morgan? Yeah, J.P. Morgan. Dude, all of a sudden they went from like $200 billion in derivatives in gold and precious metals to $3.3 trillion in derivatives that are supposed to mature in the next year. Whoa. So like, think of that swing, and it's like they own it, that market, basically. So they own futures for gold for the next year. You think, okay, why are they making that bet?
Yeah.
Why are they making that bet?
They know something's up, right?
I don't know, man. I mean, you see how they suppress the value of precious metals, and based off the amount of metal that's on the ground versus the population. I know we're not trading that now, but I mean, if these fiat currencies all collapse at the same time, and all these major financial institutions collapse, liquidity collapses, insurance companies collapse, like all that stuff like goes out of business very quickly. All of a sudden, the government does have to step in, has to start some big, not big. They probably have to start some smaller central banks and communities again.
Yeah.
Like, what are people going to have to trade?
I think it's going to be just a credit system or something, right? Like, because I get worried. I think this was more like 50 years down the road.
Credit system, like getting the bread line?
Probably. Like that's how bleak I look at it.
Oh, you're a person. Here's a little soup and some bread. I have a gluten intolerance. You don't have to eat it. You can starve to death.
Here it is.
That's going to give me diarrhea. I'm going to die faster. I'll give you
Listen, kid, shut the hell up. Eat the bread or get out.
I'll give you a little extra soup. I think that has gluten in it too. Put crackers in it to thicken it.
Please, sir, can I have some more? No, but it's like one of those things where, like, if our resources get strained in 50 years, I'm like, who's going to care about gold and silver? It's all going to be about, like, who has water and food, you know?
Oh, that I mean, water, I think, is an interesting play. And my really fucked up side.
Here we go, Conspiracy Corner. That was appropriate for Conspiracy Corner.
Is that so you look at like the fracking industry, and so it's like that. Yeah, it's interesting. But you look at like they're not getting good oil. The cost versus the reward is not so great compared to a lot of other areas. Yeah, it's getting us off of other oil, but why can't we invest in renewables and get off of fucking oil from foreign countries and be more energy dependent. And I was thinking about this, and you know, it'd be a reason to not do that. All right, one, the resource is there, and you can get it out, and like, so we'll make the renewable money later. There's that principle, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, there's fucking money to be made. Let's not waste it, because eventually, if we have all renewables, it's not gonna be worth anything.
Right.
So let's get the money now. So there's that.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is that what if you did convince people to let you fucking ruin their fucking fresh water, so that you would make it so that there's a lot less fresh water, and you would dramatically increase the demand for fresh water and systems and companies that control the water rights and can deliver fresh purified waters. Companies like Nestle, companies like Coca-Cola, companies that have huge stakes in water claims all over the country. So if you could accidentally, through fracking and other new technologies, completely destroy water tables like the Delaware River Valley and get people to think in the short term greedily to destroy their, and cover it all up like, oh, it's good, we're independent energy, and package it up that way. Well, because, you know, in these Breckenridge conversations, they're never thinking like, how can we fuck everyone? Oh, well, fucking water's next. Oh,
It's scary. That's a scary thought, Rodney. But
how could you instantly create a market?
That's kind of how you would do it, right?
You convince them to subsidize your ability to take a resource out of the ground, which actually destroys your water infrastructure.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem that far out there.
I don't know, man. Now I'm worried. Now I'm worried about the water police, man. I think we're fine in central Pennsylvania.
They do lots of fracking around
That's
here.
true. They do have a lot of fracking around here.
North of us.
Yeah, definitely north
Because
of
a lot
us.
of that water comes down.
Oh, stop it. So, that's depressing.
I mean, that's a dark way to think about it.
Yeah.
And people will be like, "You're crazy." Oh. And I was thinking, I was like, I don't know if it's as crazy as you think it is, because a lot of people can make a lot of money off what you're getting them to do, and they don't realize why you want them to do what you're doing.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's levels to that thinking of like, wait, because so many people are saying you shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be doing this, so many reasons not to be doing this, right? And you have the other side where you have these people that are kind of blind. Oh, we need cheap energy. Oh, it's good. It's producing jobs. It's good. Oh, you know, they've shown that it's not hurting our water. No, it is hurting our water. Like,
I see what you're saying, but I think the point you hit on, regardless if it's quote unquote planned or not, is it's leading to that regardless because of the state of the world, I think.
well, what you said is just the population's getting bigger, and
The population's getting
resources.
bigger. People are making, I think,
well, I guess not in the
short-term
United
decisions
States.
that might hurt us in the long term. And then I feel like in 20, 30 years, we might be in a spot where it's like water is controlled by this company or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to get desalinization plants too, so that, I think, to reasonably survive
Well, I
in
mean,
some of these locations.
if we can develop some better energy systems, desalinization plants would be a lot more affordable, right? If we had the energy inputs to make it more cost effective.
Yeah.
Because I think the big cost is it takes a lot of energy to run those things. But so if we came up with, I don't know, name a cool energy system.
What is it called?
Fusion.
Fusion, yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
Fusion.
Cold fusion,
That
if
was
that
the only-
existed or whatever.
The only one I was thinking of was fusion. I'm like, oh, maybe Derek has another one.
Yeah.
I mean, that could change the game
Well,
instantly.
They do stuff at CERN now.
I'm saying California's fine.
Yeah, everything's great.
We have more water than ever. We have the whole fucking ocean.
I'm interested in what they do at CERN because they're tapping into like the atom at the most basic level. And I feel like they might develop, I don't know what they're doing, but I just feel like that research might lead to an energy breakthrough.
Some cool fucking shit.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's funny, you know, there's that argument that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but that law might not be true.
I'm always open-minded to a naive point. Sometimes I'm just like, people say, oh, that's impossible. I'm always one of those people, an idealist. I'm like, nothing's really impossible.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's just we're idiots. We're not idiots, but like in the grand scheme of the universe.
We're idiots. You're completely irrelevant little fucking pockmarks on the asshole of this planet that we're destroying.
Yeah, so it's like, maybe there's something certain they'll discover and it'll just change our whole reality. Like, oh, that is possible. Or quote unquote free energy is a thing. But
Dude, you realize, like, seriously, think about it. If like there was like a big bean like came down like a big one, like a big fucking thing, like not like a little piece of shit like us, except that was like, you know,
Sounding like a giant.
like 250 feet tall and like just massive, and when it walked, like left craters, like like huge.
Holy shit.
We would look like little maggots on this fucking thing, like just little like, oh look at the wee little. We are so.
They scream so high pitched.
There's so many of them to fill up. Oh, so bony. Actually, in this part of the world, they're so plump. They're so plump, they're like little grapes.
We've gone from World War III to financial collapse to
giants coming down and
giants coming down. We are doomsday men.
I don't know. I think it's funny when people are so scared because it's like life is so short in the grand scheme of things that you're basically already dead.
Good God, Rodney!
Life is already.
We just got gay rights for everybody. Now you gotta be killing them off.
We're all dead. In the grand scheme of things, we're all fucking dead already.
We've made so much progress, but we're already dead.
Which then makes you think about like, what does any of this mean and why does any of it matter? And it makes it just all hilarious.
I can see that perspective.
Everything
It is kind of funny. Why do you try so hard? Sometimes I think, like, you know, you should try hard to make money and stuff.
You show a bunch of videos of a bunch of guys trying really hard to beat off.
Chill out, man. Don't try so hard. Just let it happen.
It hurts.
But yeah, it's just
You're overthinking it.
Yeah.
Relax your wrist.
Stop trying to suck it. It's not gonna happen.
For you, it might.
Yeah, but then I just said anything's possible. So
If you have a
you
big
keep trying, young man.
If you have a big hog.
That's true. Yeah. One day. God.
Yeah, one of these things or something. Some guy at home just like, I have no problem at all sucking my own dick. I just choose not to.
I'm not some kind of freak.
I am, but I don't suck my own dick. You can cut this part out.
It might get cut out.
I hope this part gets cut out.
Oh, I'm just looking forward to the weekend. Oh, we didn't talk about the Confederate flag. We can talk about that bullshit.
Oh. Do you think it's weird that everyone's like, we're not selling it anymore, we gotta erase it from history? It's like, I don't think you have to go that far. I think you just not have it in front of government buildings.
I was, I guess, interested in how quickly it turned. Because I'm like, I didn't hear about it until like everybody was taking stuff down and people were taking it out of the stores. I'm like,
Apparently
but
it's selling like hotcakes.
when did it happen? And then I started kind of falling back up on it. I'm like, oh, people got serious about this. I generally, I do stereotype people when I see them with the flag. I'll say that, I'll admit that. I see a person with the Confederate flag and I'm like...
Oh, I do too. I'm like, oh, they might be someone to stay away from.
Yeah, I'm just like, you're probably a racist. That's what I legitimately think.
They probably are just worth not even
Yeah.
involving myself with. But,
Man, I get what people say when like, oh, nothing, you can't have anything now, it's got to be politically correct, and people they complain about that. Like,
yeah, because it's like freedom of speech. It is. I get
it is. I get that, but at the same time, my argument is like, the market has spoken.
Yeah, but that's not the way it works.
But the majority of
that's not what
the
we
base
are.
says
That's what freedom of speech is. It's that there's still, you could be the smallest of majorities and you're still that one voice.
well, and but like then the person would profit off of actually still making the Confederate flags for those. Let's say it's a 40-60 split. That 40% who still wants them.
Why can't they make money selling a flag that people want?
I'm just saying, I think those businesses stop because they recognize it probably wouldn't be profitable anymore, or it'd be bad for business.
I mean, the
So the
flag
market is
manufacturers are still making them. A lot of them.
I think they
Apparently, Confederate flag sales are booming.
are probably down yonder. I did see the one video online where they're having like a parade of trucks with the flags, and they rear-end each other like these dogs. Well,
shit happens.
Shit happens, I guess. But so yeah, I think this is the start of a civil war, Rodney. I think this is where it starts.
Civil war.
Yeah, that's another conspiracy theory.
Oh.
They're trying to do this to us to start a civil war.
Divide and conquer, man. That's what I do believe, though.
Well, that's the thing. Divide and conquer is a tactic. Yeah, but divide and conquer. That's a tactic. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's definitely what's going on right now.
It's funny that people are like, that's what they're trying to do. And at the same time,
that's what they are doing. That's
and I'm
what
like,
they're doing.
oh, they're kind of.
They've won that.
This is the Civil War we're talking. That was 150 years ago, and now it's like a huge issue again. All of a sudden, you're just like. Granted, I think the flag probably, I don't know. People who love it too much, I'm just like, that was 100. People who still think the Civil War is still going on, like the South will rise again. I mean, that's probably few and far between, but I'm like, come on, man, chill out.
Yeah, and it'll be a bunch of Hispanic people.
That's a good point.
It will not be the same as South rising. You will not fare well, sir.
Yeah. Our internet's down. We don't know what to do.
It's Danielle. She came back with all these devices, and they're probably all fucking on.
I guess we have to call it a show. We don't have. We don't have anything left. And our internet's not working.
This is a lame show.
Yeah.
We took a big hiatus. We're like, we'll come back firing.
Well,
we just
we did fire off about everything that's sad about the world.
Except the gay rights thing.
The gay rights thing was a good thing.
End with that.
Yeah.
To reflect again. If you want to scissor me timbers, or what? I don't know what funny way they call it.
That sounds funny to me. I don't.
Scissor me timbers is for women, I think. I think
that's what that would be.
What's a funny way of talking about man sex?
I'm thinking of things, but I'm like, that's probably offensive.
I'm sure scissor me timbers is offensive to someone.
Probably.
Our entire show's offensive.
Well, yeah.
We don't mean this in an offensive way. But Derek, what would be a funny word or a few words for dude, butt, in the butt?
In the butt? I'm trying to make sure they make sense. I'm like, I don't know if that makes sense.
How would you just start rambling as many off as you can?
It's just like...
Because it's allowed. You
fracking the butt. Yeah, I was trying to tie it into the politics.
You have at least 3 more.
They're all about some kind of drilling. They're still about oil.
Let them flow. Yeah, you can tell you're thinking of it, and you won't say it. Say it. Say it. Say it.
They don't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
They'll make sense. Or they'll just be funny because they don't make sense.
But it could work for, that one could work for a woman too, or heterosexual sex. I'm like, it's not really.
Frack in the butt? you can say more. Come on. Get creative.
Now my brain stops. My brain's like, stop it. That's all I hear. It's like, stop it. Stop it right now.
That's bullshit. Your brain doesn't work that way. It doesn't say stop. You have a million ideas going through your mind. That's the problem. You just can't pick one.
Yeah, I just can't.
You can say it in a different voice. You can say it in your high pitch.
little poking, That's kind of like a weird Bill Cosby high pitch.
Poking in the... Take the pill and I'll poke it.
Cleansing the pole in the dirt bath.
Pole in the dirt bath.
It doesn't make sense.
I love it. Shove your pole in the dirt bath. I really should text someone we know that you should say that. Would you find this offensive if I described gay sex as shoving your pole in the dirt bath? That made me cry.
I'm sweating. It's too hot. The alcohol.
Shove your pole in the dirt bath.
Yeah, cleaning it too, I guess. I don't know. Dirt bath.
I don't think there's anything clean about that. I don't think you want the person pooping when you're doing that. The idea is for them not to poop.
I don't want to judge. I don't know what people do.
You don't want the poop.
Down with the poop.
No, you're not. I'm not down with the poop. That's not the right place for poop. Sorry, this shit sucked.
The world's ending. Not really.
Everything's on fire.
Ah! Giant lands tomorrow.
Told you to.
Rodney was right.
250 feet tall, at least. At least.
Oh, man, I am sweaty though. I'm sick. I'm not healthy.
You're sick.
I'm not.